Welcome to the Daily Dev Talk with me, Adrian Nantchev, where we explore and share experiences, stories, and lessons 7 days a week from across the games industry, helping you make the best game you can. Stay tuned for today's episode. Good morning, Overload Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Dev Talk, talking to game developers from across the world to bring you experiences, stories, and lessons 7 days a week. Today, I'm joined with Gabor Danar from Gadan Games to talk about his first game, My Last Friday. Gabor, tell us about yourself first and how you got into the games industry.
Well, I'm a game developer by night because by day I'm a front-end web developer, so I'm doing games for hobby. A couple of years ago, I made some games for iOS with some other guys, and now I'm aiming for PC for my current game.
Okay, that's cool. That's pretty cool. So, a nocturnal game developer by hobby. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, then tell me about your team. Is it just you working on My Last Friday?
It's just me. Currently, it's just me.
Solo. Oh, wow. So you one-man band.
Yeah.
Cool. That sounds just as scary as your game.
Yeah, it's a bit scary.
So speaking of scary, tell us about your game then. My Last Friday.
It's a first-person horror game with puzzles and with some combat, and it's yeah.
What is it you wanted the player to experience, though?
So I like to make a horror game, but just like the old ones, without this kind of hiding and running away from monsters. So with combat and with puzzles. Just want to make a game I would like to play.
Yeah, exactly. The game that you want to play. I think that when it comes to making games, if you wouldn't play the game you're making, you wouldn't pay for the game. When it came to promoting My Last Friday, what strategies worked and didn't work so well?
I made a Twitter account for the studio. I have some followers, but what really worked was the green light campaign. I could reach a lot of people, so I think more than 7,000 viewers visited my green light page, and then that's awesome.
That's cool. A lot of numbers.
Yeah.
So, how is it you're going about funding the game?
There isn't any funding behind the project, so.
So all from your own pocket then?
Yes.
Okay. So, how is it you're going about QAing the game and getting feedback for it?
I'm about to finish the demo version of the game. I'm gonna release it in I guess in 2 weeks. I asked friends, family members to play a bit with the game. That's all I got now.
So you've not used like online communities at all?
Not really. I after I released the demo, I guess I get pretty more feedback.
Okay, I understand. So you got more feedback as well. That's pretty cool. So I'm curious then, what was cut from the game and why?
Uh, I I made a cutscene for the game with some character animation and uh, like that. But I cut it out from the game because as the story developed in my head, it just looked pointless. So I dropped it out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. It felt pointless. That's it. That's interesting. Sometimes it's a case of it'd be too big, or the game wouldn't be fun anymore. Can you elaborate at all on the plot, as you felt that the cutscene wasn't necessary?
Sorry, I couldn't catch you.
Can you elaborate at all on the plot, the story in the game?
Uh, well, it's hard without spoiling anything.
Of course, yeah. All right, no worries. So, what was the best thing you learned while working on the game?
Mm, well, I learned that I can learn a lot of things.
Mm.
I learned 3D modeling,
Hmm.
texturing, animation. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, so everything really, everything
Yes,
from character to environment to lighting, even working in the engine.
yes, of course.
Oh wow! What engine were you using, by the way?
I'm using the Unreal 4.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
It's very cool. How are you finding it?
I really like it. It's amazing engine. It's a
Yeah.
really big help for me. I tried UDK before,
Mm,
uh, but uh, but compared to UDK, Unreal Engine, so much better.
yeah, I can understand. It just doesn't compete, doesn't compare. Just doesn't compare.
Yeah.
So I'm curious then, what was the worst thing that happened, and how did you overcome it?
Uh, well, when I was modeling the first level of the game, it's it takes place in a house, a big house.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I modeled all the rooms, corridors, and then I just realized that those models are just bad. So I had to throw the whole uh, building out and start it from scratch.
Oh dear, was that because you got better, or realised it didn't suit as well, or in hindsight, or why is that? That's quite
Yeah,
drastic.
yes, I got better in modeling, and it turned out that it was just bad. So the whole thing was just it didn't react for the lighting
Mm.
as I expected. So
Yeah, no, normal maps and light maps. Yeah, very important.
yeah.
So I'm curious then, what was the best game dev purchase you made on the game, whether it was software license or hardware or equipment or simply a comfortable chair, a good desk, or a second monitor?
Well, the best I it was a substance painter.
Mm.
It's a really good tool, especially for the guy like me who is not the best texture artist.
Hmm.
This is just a really big time saver for me. And
I
that
hear is
and that's
I
yeah. So
I hear that Substance Painter is like Photoshop but more 3D.
yes, yes,
And you,
and uh, for this physical based workflow, it's really nice to have.
oh, cool, cool. And that's just for the Unreal Engine because of the physical based lighting workflow.
Uh, I think it's good for the Unity as well because I guess it's also use PBR,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
but it can produce traditional texture maps like specular and so on. So not
mm-hmm.
just for the PBR.
Oh, cool, cool. So, Substance Painter.
Yeah,
Wow, I've never used it myself, but I hear it's pretty good.
yeah.
So, what game dev related book, lecture, or learning resource can you recommend?
I can recommend the GDC Vault videos. Uh, those are you can find pretty good ones.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe YouTube, and if you want to learn, I use Blender for modeling and animation.
Aha.
So I learned Blender from Blender Guru, Andrew Price. He is a great instructor. CG Cookie has some nice tutorials. I can recommend those.
Cool. Yeah, some pretty good sources. Andrew Price. I remember when I was learning Blender a while ago. I found that Andrew Price tended to concentrate more so on visual effects and just things looking nice
Yes,
in Blender as opposed to like modeling or texturing
yes.
for games. That was the thing I
Uh,
found because he used a lot of the in software rendering system, and it's like
yeah,
it doesn't translate into engine.
yeah, but also give some modeling tips, and those are very useful.
Mm. Oh, definitely, definitely. So, like an Evernote or Trello, do you have a useful or productivity enhancing software app, extension, or website worth sharing?
I use Trello for
Hmm.
project management. It's really useful. I use it as a Kanban tool.
As a what?
Kanban, you know?
Con, a
Kan,
Kanban?
yeah.
Kanban? I'm not sure. What's that?
Uh, uh, it's just for project management. Trello is perfect for those kind of stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe not familiar with that phrase at all. Kanban. Hmm. Okay. So, any others at all apart from Trello?
I also use there's a plugin for Trello, Punch Time for Trello. Uh,
All right.
it's for time tracking. It's really useful. You can log all the times you spend on your Trello cards, and it's useful to see uh, how many hours I wrote at
Hmm.
the end of the week. So
Oh, interesting. Cool.
it's pretty
That's worth.
nice. It
Yeah, that's a good
also,
way.
yeah, it also has a Chrome extension, so pretty easy to use.
Ah, cool. I think that is worth. That's very worthwhile because it keeps you on track as regards to time. It's
Yeah,
more of a countdown, so you know exactly how much longer you've spent on each task. Otherwise, it tends to be going overboard or such.
yeah.
Otherwise, so Gabor, what advice can you give to aspiring game developers, small indie studios, and people trying to get to where you are today?
Um, don't be afraid to learn new things, um,
Hmm.
and then keep making games.
Oh, cool, cool. Don't be afraid to make new things and keep making games. That is beautifully simplistic. Beautifully simplistic. So, Gabor, what is next for you, and what's the best way for people to contact you?
Next, I'm gonna really release the demo, and I try to reach as many people as I can to get feedback. Um, Continue working on the other levels of the game, and yeah, that's it. Mm. And
Cool. And you said that the demo will come out in 2 weeks, roughly.
yes, maybe end of this week. I don't know.
Oh, so around the 10th, around the 10th of
Yeah.
August. Which by the time this video is released, it'll be about a week or so ago, something like that.
Mm.
But so, what is the best way to contact you?
You can contact me by email, info@gadangames.com. You can find all contact information on my website. It's gadangames.com. Or you can find me on Twitter.
Yes.
Or
Twitter
or Facebook.
Cool. Very thorough. Very thorough. That's cool. I think that when it comes to making games, if you haven't at least got your own website, or at least got one of those, preferably Facebook, it's a bit poor when it comes to the game development. If there's not at least one of them, and preferably a website with a contact address, it doesn't seem as professional.
Yes, I agree.
Professional. Cool. So, Gabor, it appears that we're out of time for this episode of the Daily Dev Talk. I wish you well on your endeavours. I don't think that being a web designer by day and a game developer by night tends to get much sleep in the week. And the fact that you're using Blender as well, which is cool, because when you use Blender, you can use Blender again on your other projects in the future without having to pay fees or such to anyone else, which is awesome. That's one thing I like about it. It's open source.
And it's got many features, yes.
Oh yeah, many
pretty
features,
nice.
yeah.
Animation is quite good, I think.
Oh yeah. It's a cool software. So I wish you well in future endeavours, Gabor. So stay tuned, Overload Nation. More videos to come. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Daily Dev Talk with me, Adrian Nantchev. If you are a game developer that wants to get your name and game out there and to share your experiences and stories, or you have feedback or opinions of the show, then contact me at info@gameoverload.co.uk. That's info@gameoverload.co.uk. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode, more to come.